Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is, or you have got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chatty. Welcome to my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting away to you madly about the Read What You Own challenge. But before I get into that, I'm just going to do my gimmick, because if you're new here, I do not edit my videos. It is one long continuous shot. I can only edit shorts because of my very old laptop. So it could be chaos. It has been recently. So cheers, everyone. Clink, clink, clink. Little shot of tea. One shot, no editing. That's the joke. Okay. So I am going to be talking through what I'm going to be doing for Read What You Own. So if you don't know what the Read What You Own challenge is, it is a challenge created by Olly. It was originally like reading 100 books or something, or the 100 book challenge. But last year he opened it up to everyone and it became the Read What You Own challenge with several different tiers. I will link his I will link his announcement video in the description box. Words, we will make it work. And there are also Crystal from Fiber Artsy, Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads, and MJ from Reading This Life also have announcement videos coming out, and they will also be encouraging everyone along with this challenge should you want to take part. I'm going to be going through my reasons for wanting to take part. This will be my second year. Last year it took me a long time. So I have my previous Read What You Own challenge in this. I have a book journal here, you can't see it. It's not an official book journal, it's just a journal with blank pages that I'm using for fun scribbly things. So here was last time. So last time with the Read What You Own challenge, I counted all my unread books and it was 169 because I miscounted. I do that a lot. And I wanted to read 21 of them or 30 of them. Then I was going to be able to buy more books. Took me until June because I had to restart because I failed at 8. But I managed to do some nice doodles and I managed to finally achieve my goal of getting 30 books read, and then I got to buy some books at the end of it. If you were not aware of my big confession story about my book buying, feel free to watch my last year's video where I give you my big confession story of so many book buying, which is going to be linked here. So check that out for full on all of that failing jazz. If you want to feel better about yourself and your book buying. If you're feeling also worried about your book buying, enjoy that. You will not feel alone. However, if you're someone that just buys books and enjoys it and is like, I love buying books, I love having loads of books on my bookshelves, fantastic. That is wonderful. You do you. That's great. You shouldn't feel ashamed of that. For me, I want to make sure that I am reading what I am buying, because I definitely feel that I have gone overboard with my book buying, and I will go into that a little bit because I also recently made some videos about coming clean about my secret drawer of secretness, which is my big stash of books under my bed that weren't gracing my shelves. The reason for this is because I try and do this thing called being healthy for books, where I try and give myself points for being healthy in terms of my mental health, my physical health, and just general kind of good, feeling good about your self-care. Which I will tend to ignore because I'd rather read into the middle of the night or create videos into the middle of the night, and it's not always good for me because then the next day I forget that I'm no longer 20. I'm not 20, I've not been 20 for a long time, and I don't have those energy levels anymore, and then I suffer. And it's not a good plan because I need to function. I'm supposed to be an adult. I have serious adulting to do. I have small people that need me to do good adulting, and a job and all those things. So it's good for me to try and be more accountable and be healthier, which is so hard because I'd always just choose reading over all of that, or talking about reading, which is my other fun thing to do, hence this. So if you saw those videos, which I will also link here if you haven't seen them and you just want to see a lovely, fun, big book haul, knock yourself out. There's 3 of them. And I counted up all those books and did miscount. So actually under my bed, so I have bought books. When I buy books, they go onto my bed. So it's like I haven't really bought them because they just hide under my bed, and then I just won't buy books. It's fine. But I keep buying books. So it's not really working. There is no room in the drawer. The drawer is full. I cannot fit any more books in there. It is full. So there is no space for me to buy books. Also, with 84 books, 84, I've written it all out here. Here we go. Read What You Own challenge. And I have 84 books under my bed. Books from my books on my shelves. So I also did a count up of all the unread books I have on my shelves, and there are 146. So if I add them together, that gives me 230 books. Again, with my shelf counting, I did miscount. So the official number of books that I have on my physical TBR is 230. So that is a change from last year because I didn't count the books under my bed. So it kind of felt slightly counterproductive that I wasn't reading what I owned because I already owned them. But in order for me to keep this healthy thing, which is encouraging me to be healthy, I still needed to hold books. So this time I've added the books under my bed to the books on my shelves and I have this big, this is my entire physical TBR, 230. And I want to get that down because that's a lot of reading to do. It's a lot of reading to do. And there's a few reasons, as well as wanting to read all these wonderful books I've acquired, you do tend to lose interest. So it's not always financially sensible, definitely a word, to hoard all these books and not read them, because your mood changes and your interests change and you suddenly see new shiny things and you want the new shiny things and you forget about the dusty things on your shelves. So to help me reconnect to my dusty things on the shelves, I am going to try and read the books on my shelves and not be enticed by new shiny books from the library and new shiny books in the shops, and just be more accountable with my reading, because that's going to make me feel good about myself. I did feel a big sense of achievement, and also there was a time when I was so excited about these books, and then I think the idea that now I own them and it's like I can calm down because I can just pick up that book whenever I like. But actually, am I picking it up because now I know I have it? I'm not picking up to read it. It's because I already own it. So I do want to be reading these books. So in order to focus, put the blinkers on, stop looking at the pretty things, focus on the exciting pretty things you already own, chatty. This is the plan. So that's why I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge. I'm very excited about it. And as well as doing this challenge, I'm also going to be trying to maintain this throughout my reading life. So I want to have this new system. A few people have chatted in the comments about some of the ways they hoard books and read books and when they can buy new books and things like that. And from people's comments, which I really love and have been chatting back to, it's such an exciting part of BookTube, being able to interact with all of you watching. I have come up with a system to try and help me. So the idea is that when I have read 10 books, so here we go. So I've started here, so I've already started my journey. I feel I'm doing this in a very roundabout way. Actually, I'm not going to show you this straight away. I'm going to talk through my plan. Calm down, chatty. So the idea is I read 10 books and then I get to bank a book. So because I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge, I can't buy the books. But in the future, when I'm not doing it, reading 10 books I own means I can then buy a new book to go under my bed. That's the plan. So then it's not such there's more of there's a better ratio of what I'm reading to what I'm buying, which is what I need. Because another thing is I have had very little shelf space. I have now taken to stacking them all like this, and we're making book Tetrises. I still haven't really sorted my shelves. I've now got 2 piles of books by my bed. And I have unhauled quite a lot of books. So technically there shouldn't be piles on the floor anymore because I should have space on the shelf. I just need to reorganise my books better and work out how to go about that. And kind of get rid of some library books as well. I'll come back to that later. That was get rid of some library books in case it wasn't clear. Right, I feel there's far too many tangents going on here. Yes, so my long-term goals is I read 10 books and then I get to buy a book. But in terms of the Read What You Own challenge, I will talk about my goal and my rules and my caveats, and then I'll show you my book journal and kind of what I'm doing with that. There's full-time fatigue because I've already talking a lot. Let's make up all the words here. Let's just change the whole language. I've spoken a lot. So I do quite like talking. It sounds fun. Talking. I think it's because it sounds like Tolkien. Tolkien. Shut up. Right, focus. Books, my plans, my Read What You Own. Hope you're here for gobbledygook because this is what you're getting. If you're not here for gobbledygook, try a more concise video from someone else. I am going to read 30 books. My aim is 30 books. I think I put 35 on here. because that would be really nice, but definitely 30. Okay, so my plans are for the Read What You Own challenge. I started this in September. So everyone else for the official Read What You Own challenge starts on November the 6th. So if you want to take part, go ahead. You can get yourself ready for November the 6th. I was keen to start early because I would like to be able to buy books in the Boxing Day sale from Waterstones. That would be nice. So that's my plan. So my target, so I'm starting on September the 1st. My target is 35 in an ideal world, but I will take 30 because then I get 3. I get to choose 3 books. And my reward is that I get to buy 3 books in the, buy 3 books in the Boxing Day Waterstone sale is my plan. I do also, further on in the year, want to be able to use other bookstores as well. But for now, we're going for Waterstones because I know they have a Boxing Day sale and there's a lot of books with Waterstones edges that I've got my eye on. So those. So that's the plan. The exceptions to the rule are I will still be getting book boxes. So I subscribe to Fairyloot, which is a fantasy YA book box, which is very, very pretty and has lots of pretty things that come with it. And it's just rather joyful to receive in the post. And I was on the waiting list for a long time to be able to get on there. And I'm very excited to be on that now. That's like my little treat to myself. So I will still be getting Fairyloot, but all Fairyloot from the September of starting won't count towards the Read What You Own challenge. They're not part of this physical TBR. The number stopped at 230. So the October book that I recently got, I think it's called Haunted by You. If I read that, it doesn't count as a Read What You Own book. I very much went through all of my bookshelves, and there are some books that I counted as rereading, such as The Secret Garden, which would be a reread, but that will still count because I haven't read from that specific copy, or I have a specific reading plan that I want to read that series, so then that would count. Because I'm also think rereading books on your shelves because you're enjoying them and appreciating them, that counts with this as well if I've put it in my plan. For example, I didn't have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall in my plan. I just happened to buddy read that with Emily from Novel Novels, so that was a fun reread. The same with Lords and Ladies. I just randomly picked it up, but it wasn't in my plan, so they don't count towards the Read What You Own challenge because they weren't in my plan of rereads. It all makes sense to me, even if it's a bit confusing. So unless it's planned rereads, unless I've physically listed it, so the rereads went onto this challenge. I've got a little list of them here. So like Emma is a reread for me, but I've never read from that particular edition, so that would be counting in this. Sense and Sensibility, although I haven't read from the pretty edition, that's not counting in this just because I haven't got it in my plan, so I'm just not counting it. It's just on my shelf, and I may count it next year. It makes sense, it works for me, it helps me feel like I'm achieving things. Yes. So that's the book boxes. I also subscribe to Shelterbox, which is a book subscription where it's supporting the charity Shelter, and there is a book club and you can get involved with their discussions and other things. This is one which really stretches me. They're not usually books that I would reach for, but they are some of them have been really fascinating reads and I've really enjoyed my time with them. So I think it's a really fun one if I'm wanting to push myself in a particular direction. So that's that one. But again, any new ones I get, the most recent one just snuck in as I was counting up my physical TBR. I kind of received it a few days later, so I can't remember the name of that one, but that one just snuck in. But any I get now afterwards, they won't count. If I get any books as gifts from now on, they won't count until I finish the challenge. I can read library books, but again, they're not going to count. But just because in terms of other goals I have, like wanting to finish off series, and those were the ones I planned to get out of the library, and if I'm feeling in the mood for those, I'm not going to stop myself from doing it. It's just not going to count for this. And I think that's, oh no, I did give myself a couple of exceptions. Okay, more tea. Okay, the exceptions I've given myself are, They're hidden behind here, but you can't see them. But if you watch the second part of my physical TBR, which I will link here, I spoke about having kind of one last charity shop browse. I took a load of books I was unhauling and then saw I just had to get them. I saw Jade War and Jade Legacy in a charity shop. And charity shops, I don't get loads of interesting fantasy books that I really want. It tends to be more kind of contemporary books that I want from charity shops, or middle grade books. It doesn't tend to be like fantasy books that I find in there. So this was amazing because I really, really want to read the Greenbone Saga. So if I happen to come across Jade City in a charity shop, that opportunity is too good to pass by. I shouldn't be in charity shops looking, but if I was and saw it, I'm allowed to buy that. Any other book I'm not. Only Jade City, because I bought the first two, the second two in that trilogy, in the Greenbone Saga. So I'm allowed to buy Jade City. The other thing is, but this might not really come into play because we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year, and I still haven't done this video because I still don't feel I've got to a point in finishing off series before I start new ones. I've been wanting all year, and I've spoken about this in quite a few videos. I want to make a video about the series I want to read next and get you to vote on. I've got, I think it's 13 new series I'd like to start, and I either own the first book or I definitely know it's in the library that I can access. So depending what you vote on, some of them I have the full series, some of them I don't. If I don't have all of them and that's one you've chosen, and I then pick that series up and start reading it, I am allowed to buy that one. It wouldn't count again towards this. So for example, Jade City wouldn't count towards it, but I would be allowed to buy it without having to start again from zero. So those are the two instances that I have given myself that that's okay with. Okay, I feel like I can now talk about the journal, and then that's pretty much everything done. So I have started already. I started in September. So I have read Fool's Quest. I have read The Last Enchantment. I have read Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The fifth book, which is The Last Olympian, I have read City of Nightmares. I have read Bloodmarked, and then over here I have read Witch's Brat. So I am already so far on 6 books, which is great. That means my physical TBR is now down to 225. So that can't be right. No, it's not. 224. I'm down to 224 on my TBR, which is great. So the other thing that happens with my books, so I've noted here like a little star, so like I can see when I get to 10 and I can bank a book. I also have a little drawer over here, look. So in this little drawer here, I get to release a book from one drawer that I can't earn into the drawer I can earn. So if you haven't seen any of the videos that I've mentioned before, this stems from when I broke the Read What You Own challenge last time, and I bought books, a lot of books. So then I restarted again and added them in, but also because I shouldn't have bought those books, I wasn't allowed to earn them straight away. So they're not even in my drawer for earning. They are in a separate drawer, and every time I read 5 books, I get to move one across to the drawer so I have the possibility of earning it. So out of those, so I've got 8 plus 6, which is maths time, 14? 14. It really is 14, yeah, 14. My children would be appalled at my terrible mental maths. So that was 14. Out of those 14, I have only earned 3. So 3 are on my shelves, but I have got 5 that have moved over. I have got 2 more because, as you saw, I have read 5 books, which means I have another one that I can move over from the drawer. So I'm going to spin a wheel. So everyone kindly voted on, well, said what books they'd like me to read and what books they'd like me to get to. So I will spin a wheel of all those ones said, and if it was said by more than one person, then they get put in there more than one time, but however many people said it. So I'm going to spin a wheel and see which ones are going to move over to the drawer with the potential for me to earn, which is fun. Okay, so that's everything. There we go. I'm gonna read what I own and hopefully hit that 30 before Boxing Day. I've got some reading to do, so I'm gonna get off and read. I hope you do the same. Let me know what you think about this. Are you doing something similar? Do you just really not care and just enjoy having all the books on your shelves and are like, fine? Do you just tend to not buy books and get them out of the library? Or another thing I didn't mention is I don't have like audio credits. I just get them from BorrowBox for my library, and I don't read ebooks either. I have no e-reading device. I kind of prefer to read them physically anyway. In the future, I do think I need to get some sort of e-reader just because shelf space, basically. And there are some books I'm interested in but might not necessarily want to own. So I think it would be better to be kind of doing those ones through an e-reader than a physical one. Physical books are one that are really special to me. Anyway, I found another tangent to hop down. Let me know if you're doing something similar. I would really love to hear about it. And if you haven't, go and check out Olly from Olly's video all about what this challenge is. And it's probably going to be so much more succinct than mine. Happy reading, everyone.